Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, keeping with the Microsoft Office theme that we took a look at in my last video where I tried to install Office 97 from 46 floppy diskettes, we're going to be doing another video related to Microsoft Office today, but we're going to be taking it in a little bit of a different direction. And that's because in today's video, we're going to be trying at least to install Microsoft Office version 3.0 on Windows 10 here. Now, this was a version of Office that came out in 1992, so almost 30 years ago, which is pretty insane if we're actually able to get this to work. And the reason why I've got this page up here is because I want to show you guys where you can actually get this piece of software from. You can actually download this from the WinWorld website. They host a lot of vintage Microsoft and other PC and even some Macintosh software as well. They've got a very large library of software, so if you're interested in actually downloading this for yourself and possibly checking it out, follow that link down below. But I've also got this page up to show you that if we are unsuccessful in installing version 3, we're going to try to work our way up to version 4, 4.2, 4.3. Hopefully we'll just be able to install Office 3.0 and actually check it out. But, I mean, this is almost 30-year-old software, and it might not work even with, running this program in compatibility mode. Now, I did do a couple videos of this sort where I try to install older software on Windows 10. I try to install Microsoft Bob on Windows 10. I try to install some Windows 1.0 applications on Windows 10. So you'll see here that the CD-ROM version, it includes Word 2.0C, Excel 4.0A, PowerPoint 3.0, and Mail. Now, Microsoft, before they started using the Microsoft Office branding, they actually just sold each of these pieces of software individually. So like you had Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. that you would literally go and buy standalone in a store. I actually have an old version of Excel 4.0, and that version is bundled in this version 3.0 of Microsoft Office. So it's kind of like they were taking an existing product and just bundling it together with a bunch of other programs to make it kind of a suite of software. Now you might be asking why we're not taking a look at version 2.0, and that's because this is a Macintosh program. Version 2.0, at least the version that WinWorld has here, is only for Macintosh, as you can see here, and it's for the PowerPC architecture. So we're obviously not going to be able to run that on Windows 10 here. There's a bunch of folders here, disk 1 through 6. We have an Excel and a Word folder and a setup.bat file. So I don't know who actually created this. I don't think WinWorld did, or maybe this was officially done by Microsoft, but all of these disk folders I assume were at one point separate floppy disk images, and so somebody just bundled all of those. They had all those diskettes, extracted them, and basically made an ISO file out of them and created this setup.bat file here, which if we actually go to edit this here, you'll see that all it does is it actually changes to a few different directories, although I don't think this is going to work because I don't have a OFF30 directory in this folder here, but it looks like it's going to point to the Excel folder, run setup, and then change directory to disk 1, run setup, and that'll do disk 1 through 6, and then set up Word. Yeah, so it's not going to be able to find Excel because it was trying to point to the OFF30 folder and then Excel. So let's see if we can just go into the Excel folder here and run setup manually. And Windows 10 is going to warn us right away to say this app can't run on your PC. To find a version for your PC, check with a software publisher. Something I was kind of expecting. So we'll go to properties here and see if we can enable compatibility mode. And let's try to run this, let's say Windows 95. I don't think this is going to work. We may have to actually download NTVDM, yeah. What we're going to try to do is, you guys may remember actually at the end of last year, 2018, which, man, that was almost a year ago. Yeah, I just can't even believe that. We took a look at a pretty cool compatibility layer for a 64-bit release of Windows called OTVDM. And OTVDM basically kind of worked like NTVDM does, the NT Virtual DOS machine, in that it allowed you to execute some 16-bit programs on a 64-bit operating system. So I've got it downloaded here, and we're going to just go ahead and run the OTVDMW just like we did in that other video. And it's going to come up with a file browser right here, and we're going to browse to, I just copied all of the files over to the desktop here, so it'll be a little bit easier to access. So we're going to go to the desktop, we're going to go in Office 3.0, and we're going to start with Excel just like that bat file does, and we're going to open setup. And we're going to see what it does, and check that out, it works! Oh my gosh, okay. So OTVDM is absolutely the way to do this. Now I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to check here, Oh, this is a 64-bit operating system. Okay, so that would make sense why I wasn't able to work before. Now, I'll have the tutorial video on that program and kind of where you can get it linked down below as well. And you can see that this is kind of like its own separate thing. There's a dedicated installer for just Excel. It wants to create a separate folder for just Excel, not like in the Microsoft Office folder or anything like that. So this is basically a separate standalone program. We're going to hit continue. It's going to say that the specified directory does not exist. You want to create it in a very weird looking text box. I mean, this is the newer help icon over here. It's in this much smaller font that I haven't really seen in an error message before. And yeah, just an interesting, thing going on here. Haven't really seen this before in Windows 10. So we're going to say yes. And we're going to actually do a custom installation because I want to see what it is going to install here. So everything here looks good. We're going to go ahead and hit setup. And it's going to, oh, here we go. So this is pretty cool. Microsoft Excel includes a learning tool that helps people with Lotus 123 experience to learn to use Microsoft Excel. Would you like more information? Sure, I haven't used Lotus 123, but why not? Okay, so this is funny right here. It wants to add the Excel directory to the path statement in your autoexec.bat file, which obviously Windows doesn't use anymore. Let's just hit update and see if it actually works. And yeah, so here we go. The software is installing. You can see right now it's actually going through. It's telling you what it's currently installing, which is pretty nice. Alright, so the setup process has completed for Excel right here, and kind of like all these old setup programs used to do. It opens up the folder that it has created in the start menu program. So it's created a new folder, and it just kind of brings that up so you can easily run the program right when you're finished here. So we're just going to minimize that for now, and we're going to press OK. You can see the copyright date here is 1985 to 1992. So we'll just press OK, and we'll close out of that. And let's just briefly run Excel here and see if the program wants to work before we actually jump into trying to install Word and the rest of the Office software. So yeah, C Excel. So we don't want to. Oh, actually, yeah. So this is the file that we want to execute. Let's try to just open up the other executable here, the OTVDM W, which opens up the window, and we're going to go to C Excel and let's run Excel. Hit open, and there we go. Oh my gosh, this is actually working. Microsoft Excel version 3.0 from 27 years ago has just opened up on the latest and greatest version of Windows 10 that was like released this year. I mean, this is insane. Like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, the fact that the thing installed is pretty impressive, but the thing's actually running, and it looks like it's going to load up here. It might completely crash on us, I don't know. But I gotta give a huge shout out to the authors of OTVDM, because they have definitely done some nice work at getting these, 16-bit programs to work on a 64-bit, version of Windows. So I don't know what exactly is going on here, but we're just gonna kind of let it run in the background, and maybe it will decide to finish opening up, once we actually install some of these other programs. But we're going to move on to Microsoft. Let's actually, so what does the setup program want to do? It wants to move on to disk number 1. I'm not really sure if it matters. I don't think that it does in like what order that we install these in. But let's just move on to disk number 1, and we'll save Word for last because that's how it is in the file there, or in the BAT file. So we're going to open up OTVDMW once again. We're going to browse to our desktop, Office 3.0, disk number 1, and setup. And okay, so this looks like it's just for PowerPoint. So we're going to install this to C Power PNT, or just short for PowerPoint. We're going to press continue. It's going to. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. The path you type specifies a destination directory which is not writable. Setup needs to create. Man, that is like the most complex way to say, do you want to create a new directory? It's got to go. The path you typed specifies a destination directory which is not writable. Setup needs to create files in the directory you specify. And it wants to install it to C Power PNT, which is, just short for PowerPoint. We're going to go with the complete installation here. And it's going to copy files here. Now let's see if it actually recognizes, because this is kind of going to be interesting. It looks like that it would, but it might ask for like disk number 2, and I don't have a way of putting disk number 2 into the floppy drive because all the files are extracted here in this folder. So it should, and I'm assuming the way that this BAT file is, set up here, I mean, this isn't really complicated at all, but it looks like it just runs the disk 1 setup and then lets it finish and then goes on to Word. So It looks like the setup program might actually automatically recognize disk number 2, and let's see if that is the case, because it very well could be. Okay, so it appears that the program, the setup program here has automatically figured out where the disk 2 files are, because you see this title has changed from disk number 1 to disk number 2, so it is actually pulling files off of disk 2 right now. I guess this is all just PowerPoint. I guess disk 1 through 6 is just PowerPoint, and I guess Mail as well, because it said Mail was the other program. And then we just have to install Word, and then we'll be completely installed and actually ready to take a look at this software. Alright, so we have an error message. Look at that. Apparently the setup was not able to finish here because it could not write a line to an INI file, which is... Oh, okay, so it's trying to search for the... OTVDM has a Windows folder in it that contains some of the files that a lot of these setup programs will look for. And in this case, it's trying to look for the win.ini file. It was able to find it, but it couldn't write to it. Okay, so I just tried to unset read-only on every single folder inside of the C users folder on this computer, and it still is not allowing me to, hit retry here. And for some reason, it doesn't want to write this ini file. So we're just going to hit cancel, and I guess we're just going to have to exit the setup. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to install PowerPoint, but... let's go ahead and move on to Microsoft Word here and see if we can install that. So we're going to go ahead and open up the OTVDM W folder. We're going to go into the Word folder and run setup. And it's still able to work, so exit all applications and run setup again. Oh, okay, so apparently we can just get past that. We're going to let it install to the WinWord directory. We will say yes, we want to create it, and we'll do a complete installation. And similarly to the Excel installation, it comes up and it says that it comes with a learning tool. That Word here includes a learning tool to help people that are familiar with WordPerfect. So, to kind of get them transferred over to Word for Windows. So we're going to go ahead and say no, since we're not going to bother installing this feature. And we're not going to bother updating our autoexec.bat file just to, not have this create any problems for us. Because obviously it's not really going to be able to do that because the autoexec.bat file isn't even in use by Windows 10 nowadays. So we're going to go ahead and let it install here, but it looks like this is a very similar setup process to Excel. Alright, so the Microsoft Word installer has closed, so I'm going to take a guess that it's finished. We do have, let me go ahead and go into the C drive here. We do have a new WinWord directory right here with all of these files in it, so let's see if we can run WinWord using, of course, OTVDM. So we're going to go ahead and run OTVDM. And check that out. Microsoft Word has actually opened up here, and it looks like it is fully functional. Let's go into Help and About here and view the About information. So this is Microsoft Word version 2.0C, copyright 1989 to 1992. I don't think there's any like spelling or grammar check. So you see, like I typed, the wrong. I typed 10. I used the wrong night here. So there's no. At least let's see here. Can we? Oh yeah. Okay. Never mind. Tools spelling. So I was just pressing F7, which is usually, at least in the newer versions of Word, the keyboard shortcut to open up spell check. So we're going to press yes to check at the beginning of the document. So it's going to come up with MJD. It's not in the dictionary, of course. We're going to ignore that. We're going to change ta to the, and so the spelling check was complete, but there is a separate grammar check. So the spell check and the grammar check are two separate things in this version of Word, unlike today where it's just one tool, one routine that you run and it automatically checks the spelling and the grammar. So we're going to run the grammar check here. We're going to, of course, ignore that again. And okay, so I guess it's not finding that I used the wrong night here. The isn't capitalized. It didn't change that for us. So there's a couple of things that I can see that, definitely improved in future versions of, Word. For example, auto capitalization and being able to actually show you with like a little red underline if a word was not recognized or if it was, not proper grammar. So for another fun experiment here, let's see if we can type out some stuff here. This was typed in or on Microsoft Word version 2.0C. Let's see if we can close out of this and save it to a new document. And we're going to go ahead and actually save this in, let's go to our C drive here and let's try to save it to the desktop here. Let me go ahead and copy this over to my host computer here, and it's coming up with the Word icon. Let me go ahead and show you. I can't really show you here the way I have the video set up, but I can go ahead and open this here, and it's going to come up with an error here. Now, this is the latest version of Word that I have with Office 365. So it says here that you're attempting to open a file type Word 2 and earlier binary documents and templates that has been blocked by your file block settings in the Trust Center. So I guess Word doesn't, like, by default, it doesn't want to trust any document with Word 2.0, so that's actually kind of interesting. Okay, so this is Microsoft Word's Trust Center, and in here is where you can basically choose what file formats you want to allow to open and not open. So, for example, Word 2 and earlier binary documents and templates is auto set to block, basically, so it's not going to allow you to open it. So we're going to uncheck that, hit OK, and hit OK once again, and now we should be able to open this document, and there we go. Now let's add another line, and I don't know what version of Word specifically that this is, but I know it's bundled with Office 365, so we'll just say an edit on Office 365. We'll save that. It's going to save it back to that doc file, and now we should be able to, let me go ahead and go to our desktop here and drag this file back in. And now we should be able to open this up. Let me just have to open up Word again. So let me go in here. And now let's see if we can take this document and open it up. And we have an error message. So SEGV address, this just a ton of random information here that I guess it does not like. Can we just open it from the file browser maybe? Word20.doc. Word cannot start the converter. Word cannot start the converter. Word cannot start the converter. Convert file from text only. Okay, so obviously my newer version of Word has screwed up the document for this older version here. But that's enough about Word. Let's see if we can open up Excel. So let me go ahead and I just close this folder out. Let's open up OTVDMW. We're going to go into Excel once again and launch excel.exe. And let's see if this... Okay, perfect. So now it's actually loading up here. We're going to do an equals sum, and I want to do cells A1 through A21. And let's go ahead and put a number 1 here, and let's go down to cell 9 and put a 6 and 2. So it's basically just adding all of the values in these 21 cells right here. So yes, functions are still a thing even in this, this is what version 4.0 of Excel. Functions are still a thing in here. I do think there's some Easter egg. I don't know if it's in this version or if it's in like a newer version, but there's some Easter egg where there's like a hidden game in an older version of Microsoft Excel, and maybe I'll have to do a video on that, and maybe just a whole video on Easter eggs in general in Microsoft products, because there's a lot to talk about there. So to answer the question, can you install Microsoft Office version 3.0 on the latest version of Windows 10? Well, yeah. Unfortunately, things like PowerPoint doesn't work, and I don't know where that mail program is. But it's still pretty impressive that this software from almost 30 years ago is able to run on the latest and greatest version of Windows 10. But before we head out of here, I want to give a huge thank you to EaseUS for sponsoring today's video. Today they're promoting their Partition Master software, which allows you to easily manage hard disk partitions on a Windows computer. With it, you can split an existing partition into multiple parts, or create a new partition on a brand new hard drive. It also comes with a built-in disk cloning tool and a wiping tool, allowing you to securely erase sensitive data on a disk. The user interface is also extremely functional and looks more modern than the disk management tool that comes bundled with Windows. It's a powerful tool that I've personally used for years, both in videos on this channel and on my main PC when performing hard disk upgrades. EaseUS offers a free version of the program which supports all of the features that I've mentioned here. But if you're looking for more functionality, the Pro version of the program starts at $39.95 and comes with some added features, including the ability to create a Windows PE bootable disk, manage hard drives larger than 8 terabytes, and recover partitions. Both of these versions support the latest version of Windows 10 and every version of Windows all the way back to XP. So if you're interested, check out the link in this video's description for more information. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever that I upload a new video, which I do every single week on this channel. And also be sure to drop me a comment down below letting me know your guys' thoughts on this video and if you have any video suggestions for future videos, as I always enjoy reading what you guys have to say. And as always, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.